Hey guys, I made that list of the guys that I have, so you can try to make your own teams or pick up guys yourself. First thing you want to do is go to this website, hcrealms.com. Here's the username and password. When you first go to the website, this is the page you'll land on. You want to go to the units page right here. In this section, there'll be the spot where you can log in using this info. Once you do, you'll have access to my inventory. For the Your Collection, which is what we're probably going to concentrate on right now, this just shows the guys that I have. It doesn't really let you use the team builder. We'll get to that in a second. But first, if you wanted to get guys yourself, one thing you can do is up here. These are all the different sets that have been released. They're normally themed. So, for example, this one, Joker's Wild, this is going to be a Batman theme set, specifically Batman's Rogues Gallery. So, it's going to be all of his villains. The green, all that indicates is these are modern age, so they're tournament legal. All the red ones are the retired pieces, so they're golden age. Pieces normally get retired after like 2 years, so you have to kind of keep buying the new sets if you want to play in tournaments. One thing that might interest you guys, though, is this other section. So it's not all superheroes. That's what I've always bought, but there's other stuff, too. Like, I know there's, like, Lord of the Rings. There's, like, Pacific Rim, so, like, the giant monster things. There's Star Trek. There's Iron Maiden for some reason, the rock band. There's a lot of video games like Assassin's Creed, Halo, Street Fighter. Anyway, so there's other stuff in here you can kind of check out, too. Anyway, so you can kind of just go in here and browse. So let's say you wanted to try to pick up some like Batman villains. You could, just find a Batman themed set and just kind of check out like, oh, do they have the Riddler? And, sure enough, there he is. Anyway, the other thing you could do is you could try to like, do a specific search for a guy if you're interested. So let's say you want to pick up a Cyclops. Here are all the different Cyclopses in the game since the very first set Infinity Challenge. This is the one I have, which is kind of, just your generic Cyclops, but there's some other, really cool ones too. So this guy right here is kind of considered the quintessential Cyclops right now. He's got a cool sculpt and everything. He's 150 points. But, there's other, like, versions of characters, which is kind of cool. I remember this guy from Mutations and Monsters is, like, the Age of Apocalypse version, which he's the bad guy. There's one right here where it's him and Jean Grey on the same dial, so they get to use the duo attack ability, meaning you get to make 2 attacks in the same turn. There's one where it's this one right here. So this is a 1,000-point click. At some point in the comics, Cyclops gets the Phoenix Force. So this is, I don't know if you can tell, this is one of those giant ones. This is like that Hulk I have. So this guy on the board is going to be enormous. So anyways, there's just different versions of all the different characters and whatnot. So just because I have something, by all means, pick up a different version if you want to. Anyway, so that's how you kind of, check out guys yourself if you want to. To build a team, you want to use this team builder right here. And you can't really do that from the Your Collection page, because this is to, like, manage my collection. Like, let's say, for example, I sold this Hulk. I would update it and just say I only had one of those. Anyway, what you want to do instead is you want to go to the advanced search. And first thing you want to do is come down here to the inventory options and say your keep is equal to 1. All that's noting is that I have this character. So if you just search for this, it'll show you the 150 guys that I own. So here's all 150, because all you did was just say, do we own him? Let's say you wanted to look for something a little bit more specific, though. Well, first of all, when I'm trying to build a team, I normally try to, like, build it around a guy. Like, I try to find a guy that I'd be interested in, like, playing. Like, for example, let's say you want to do Red Skull. It's like, hey, he looks interesting. I kind of want to play him. So you use this little green button right here, and you add him to the team. So he's 140 points. So my total is 140. Let's say I add Luke Cage to the team. Now I'm up to 238. So let's say you want to, get a little bit more information about the guy, so you're not looking at all 150. So what I normally try to do is well, there's 2 things you can do. You can either try to make a themed team in which you take a look at these keywords that they have. So let's say you did Red Skull, and Red Skull has the aim keyword. So let's say so first thing we have to do is you have to come down here, say your keep is equal to 1. Here under keywords, you can say, I need someone with the aim keyword. So who do I own that has that keyword? Let's see. So I only own 2 guys. So that's not going to be a very good theme team to make. But there's some generic keywords, like there's like soldier, and a ton of people have the soldier keyword and stuff like that. So that might be a better thing to do. Or like past is going to be a really good one. So you could try to make a theme team. That's what gives you that 1 game probability control. Your 1 mulligan, if you will. I wouldn't concentrate too hard on that personally. I would just try to find guys you want to play with that look like fun. I mean, I've been making you guys theme teams just because it's you know, it is fun to have a theme team because it makes a little bit more sense. But at the same time, it's fun to have a bunch of guys that make no sense having on the same team. So that's personally what I would do. Is I would just try to make balanced teams right now. So let's say theoretically you add, Claw and Red Skull to the team. And I know both these guys, neither of them have the wing symbol, so you don't have any flyers yet. So what you might want to do is come back down here, go to your keeps equal to 1, and then you can say wing symbol, so you see just my flyers. So here's all. So I have 43 guys who can fly in the game. So let's say we add Zatanna to the list. So now Zatanna can fly one of these guys in. And you can get pretty specific with it. Let's say you wanted to have someone that flies, and someone that can use the charge ability, someone that can use super strength, and someone who doesn't take pushing damage. So we'll make them indomitable. So who on my team has all those things? Flies, doesn't take pushing damage, super strength, and charge. So Wonder Woman. Very cool. We'll add Wonder Woman to the list. So let's say this is the team that you want to have, and you're trying to make a 600-point team right here. You can do a few things to try to round that up. So you need someone about 45 points to add to this team. So you could do cost equal to 45. Again, do keep equal to 1. And I'm going to have one person, Sif. So let's do a range instead. So let's do in the range of 45 to 55. And you can kind of probably get a few more options with this. So here's a few more. So let's say we add Black Cat. So 609, that's probably a little bit too much over. Normally we try to play a little fast and loose. Like, if it's a few points over the 100 mark, that's fine. But you just don't want to try to go too much over. So let's say, theoretically, it's Sif. Sif would go a little bit over too. But let's say you end up in a situation where you're actually a few points under. Let's say you're at you need to add 8 points. And there's not going to be any character that is, 8 points. That Sif's probably among the lowest ones at 45. You can either say that's fine, I'm just going to be 8 points under. Or you can try to add stuff to your guys. This is one thing I haven't really talked to you about too much. I talked to Matt a little bit about it, but there are things you can add to your characters to beef them up a little bit. Let me just refresh this page real quick. You go to rank right here. A lot of this you don't need to necessarily pay attention to. What you want to be looking for is either feat, alternate team ability, or special objects. We'll get to the objects in a second, but feat and alternate team abilities work just like the feats and the team abilities your characters have. As you remember from the last game, those are the abilities that your characters have always. They're on top of the dial. So what you can do is you can actually buy feats and add them to your characters. So let's say you're 12 points under. One of my favorite feats was this one, automatic regeneration. Feats normally have a prerequisite. You have to have something to buy it and put it on your guy. So a guy like Wolverine's normally going to have regeneration. So let's say you have a 100-point Wolverine. You could buy this feat, put it on Wolverine. Wolverine's now 112 points, and he has the feat. Once at the beginning of your turn, this character can use regeneration as a free action, which is just awesome. So, especially because you can kind of use it twice a turn, maybe. Let's say you have multiple clicks of regeneration. You use it once as a free action, you heal 2, and then if you still have it, then you can give them a power action and use it again because it's different action types. So, being able to put feats on the guys can be really powerful. So the alternate team abilities, which are also accessible from up here, basically work the same way, except instead of it being geared specifically towards one character that has a specific ability, these are normally geared more towards teams. So that's going to say they need a keyword, X-Force. So it's kind of another way to kind of make, themed teams and give them unique powers and whatnot. The last thing in here is the special objects. This is another way you can just pick up those last few points and add some extra abilities. So as you guys remember, there's objects in the game. Objects normally have to be picked up by someone that has super strength, so if you don't have anyone that has super strength in your team, I would just ignore this completely. But let's say we have Wonder Woman. She has super strength. So you can add this Blood Axe, which is kind of a funny name, but so let's say you add this for 10 points, and then Wonder Woman picks up the Blood Axe. She then gets to use these powers as long as she's holding it, which is awesome, because Exploit Weakness means she goes through defenses, and Steal Energy means she heals whenever she hits somebody. So that's another way you can kind of beef up your characters by just spending a few extra points. Anyway, I think the best thing to do would just be kind of go in here and play around. There's a lot of things you can kind of, you can do how many targets they have, what's their range, etc., etc. So anyways, hope that makes sense. Talk to you guys soon.